Extra time.
So here we are yet again for another Football Daily podcast, but I've got a very, very special guest joining me today. It is none other than Ben Foster, aka the Cycling GK, and it's all thanks to our friends at the EFL and EA Sports. Ben, how are you doing, mate?
Zac, I'm awesome, mate. Thank you for having me. I always love seeing your nice smiling face, mate. It's a pleasure, mate, honestly.
Oh, mate. Well, we got a bit of time, and we're going to talk. I'm going to do it in two sections. We're going to talk about Ben Foster, the footballer, and then we're going to talk about Ben Foster, the YouTuber. You know how much I love the fact that you do YouTube and how much I love your YouTube channel. But first, let's talk about the football, because your team, Watford, have only just gone and got promoted to the Premier League again. How was that? How was the celebrations? I saw it on the channel, but how was the celebrations that may have not quite made the video?
Mate, the celebrations were class. Honestly, it was absolutely wicked. It was like a wedding feel. You know how weddings are like so nice and everybody's happy and you've got to have a good time because it's a wedding. It was a little bit like that. Everybody was so happy, so relieved that we'd got the job done, because I think if you cast your mind back, like even 4 or 5 months ago, we were not in a position to be counting our chickens of getting automatic promotion. And the lads, honestly, in the last 3-4 months particularly, have been absolutely incredible. So it was a massive relief for us to get it done with a couple games to spare.
Oh yeah, I mean, was that the target at the beginning of the season, to try and get back to promotion, to get back to the Premier League?
Oh, for sure. I think obviously, anytime you get relegated, there's going to be players that want to leave, and it's going to be a little bit of an unrest and all that kind of stuff. But in fairness, the team did a really good thing of keeping most of the lads together, keeping the core together, the lads that you needed, the lads you can rely on, and obviously keeping the likes of Ismail Sarr, who has been absolutely incredible this season. But yeah, it was without doubt a thing for us that we wanted to bounce back at the first opportunity. And it's honestly a really difficult thing to do, because the Championship's such a competitive league. It's so hard to get out of, never mind doing it when you've just been relegated as well.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously this season as well has had, the world's been crazy, right? There's been no fans in the stadium. And for a goalkeeper, I guess, or at least I think that when you are in goal, the fans have a bit more of an effect than maybe for an outfield player when you're running about constantly up and down that pitch. Whereas if you're a goalkeeper, you're standing in one position for a while. Did you find it more noticeable than maybe some of the other players that when there were no fans in the stadium?
Yeah, at first it was very much sort of you had to find a way of kind of geeing yourself up a little bit, if that makes sense. Because I always used to get such a buzz from the crowd. Like as soon as the game kicked off, the adrenaline levels, mine personally, would just go straight high. But when you didn't have the roar of the crowd and you could hear individual voices, when you didn't have that, I was like, oh, this is weird. Where's my adrenaline? Why aren't I getting an adrenaline rush? I had to learn to sort of, come on, talk to myself, keep yourself going, all that kind of stuff. Where, like you say, the outfield players, they're just doing it on autopilot because they've got a job to do. They're running around, but I'm in my head in goal, just sort of standing there wondering about, letting my mind run wild. You have to kind of stay in the game and talk to yourself. And I found that was a big thing for me to get me through games, is just talking to myself a bit more.
Because as a footballer, I'm sure a lot of people talk about the fans as being the 12th man. Have you had many instances where that 12th man has you've really felt it, where you've understood that, oh my God, if it wasn't for the fans today, like, we wouldn't have got these 3 points, we wouldn't have levelled it?
That's happened so many times. It is outrageous, honestly. The amount of games where we've been sort of 1-0 up or 2-1 up, or even if we're hanging on for a draw, do you know what I mean? It can work like that as well. If you're hanging on for a draw and you can hear the crowd sort of, you see it on telly when you can hear the crowd like literally dragging you up the pitch or trying to stop the ball going in the box, anything like that. It does. It's a massive, massive thing. And it's something that we've really missed for the last sort of year and a bit, really. But I've got to say, we are looking forward to, even you saw at Wembley last week, just having a few fans back in the stadium. It's such a nice thing to hear the genuine emotion and the genuine what it means of what's going on in the game, instead of having that weird fake.
Oh, sorry, I don't know. I don't know if that's my internet or what, but my Virgin's been a bit dodgy.
It's definitely mine, mate. I live in the middle of a field, mate. My internet's
okay. Well, we'll put it down to that. Now, I did a bit of research into your career, because in terms of football, you were a bit of a late bloomer. You didn't really have an academy when you were growing up, not like how it is nowadays, where people are coming from Manchester City, Chelsea, all these kind of things. At what point did you realise that, like, football was the career path you were going to take, that football was going to be the thing you did professionally?
Honestly, mate, and even when I signed for Man United at 22, I think I was, even then I kept thinking, no, like they're going to sign me and they're going to realise they've made a huge mistake and they're just going to send me back or something. Honestly, because like I said, I never did any academy or anything. I got a job as a chef for 2 years when I left school at 16. Just didn't really seem to, it didn't click and stuff weren't clicking. I knew I was a decent goalie, but that was about it. And it wasn't until I turned probably 21, 22 when the little bits started making sense and it was all connected up. And then I was like, oh, actually, I can do this. But yeah, I still, probably even now, I still don't think like, oh yeah, you've been a footballer and you've smashed it. I genuinely have just, I'm 38 years old and I still enjoy going in and seeing the lads and having a laugh as much as I did in that very first few years of my career.
Well, I mean, you mentioned there you were a chef for a couple of years. So that must have given you like a proper like grounding of being like, look, obviously the heights of being a professional footballer is amazing, but then this is also like I've learned the kind of hard work as well that is needed in life.
Mate, being a chef is so hard, mate. It is the rock hard job. Like I remember we were doing like 14 hours days sometimes, sweating your absolute head off. You were constantly on your feet, around, like as busy as you like, it's boiling hot. You stink. It was horrible. Honestly, it was such hard work. So to any chefs out there, like kudos to you. Like it's a seriously hard job, really unsociable hours, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was doing that and I was playing semi-pro at the same time. I was playing semi-professional football, I was on like £30 a game, which was incredible because that paid for my like Saturday night basically. But then yeah, I remember a Stoke scout saw me playing and that was it. It went from there really. I remember my first contract at Stoke City, I was on £250 a week. And even then I was like, this is incredible. I'm getting paid to play like football properly. And that's it. That's my job. It's outrageous.
It's when the dream comes true, the realisation. Yeah. I mean, because that's also something that I've always wondered about as a footballer. Like, we always hear on like Sky Sports News, it's like this player is going to be transferring to this player or to this club. I mean, as a player, what is it actually like going through a transfer? I mean, you moved to Manchester United, one of the probably the biggest club in the world. Do you just wait by the phone for your agent to call you? Like, how does it normally go from a player's point of view?
I'll tell you what, I think you've just given me a video idea here, Zac. The next time
that's a million views right there.
Next time I get a little move. I need one more move. I don't care who it's to, all right? But I'll show you the exact process, okay? I'll show you how it works. Do you know what? It's quite an exciting time, to be honest with you, because most moves that happen are because the player wants to move. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like if a player moves team, it's not because he didn't want that to happen. That's rubbish. Like forget that straight away. Like it's because the player wanted that to happen. But it's definitely a sort of an interesting time. People are always texting you, oh, you're going there. I've heard you going here. I heard you going there. But it is an exciting time because you're going into, it's like going into a new job. You know what I mean? It's the same for you. If you're going into a new job, you're going into a room of maybe met before, but most of them you'd have never met before in your life. And then you've got to go and start making new friendships and building relationships with people. Honestly, it's a really exciting thing, but it gives you that little bit of a buzz especially for the first few months anyway, because it's all new, it's all shiny. You want to impress, you want to show people how good and how professional you are. You're always a little bit better in training for those first few weeks. No, it is. It's a genuinely exciting time.
And then obviously Manchester United, as we said, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and not just in that, with playing for England internationally, you played with some mega stars. Cristiano Ronaldo, not a bad name to put on the list. David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes at Manchester United. Who out of all of them impressed you the most? Not necessarily maybe in a game, but just the way they carried themselves, maybe the way they trained. Who was it, the one that was like always a standout?
Yeah, lovely that, mate. I'll give you two. Obviously, how hard he worked as a professional footballer. He was incredible, honestly. The first player in, he was working as well. He wasn't just getting in, sitting down, having his breakfast, reading his phone away. He was working. And then he was last one off the pitch, last one out of the building because he was doing extra gym work, all that kind of stuff. So everything he's achieved in life is because he's so dedicated. He works so hard. And I got to see that. And it was an incredible thing to see and learn from.
That was Ronaldo.
And as a guy, somebody who I learned... Sorry, yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. That's Ronaldo Cristiano I'm talking Ronaldo. About there. Yeah, absolute wow. What an animal. And then somebody else I learned so much from was Edwin van der Sar as a person, as a human being. The way that he sort of played football on a Saturday was so indicative of him as a person as well. He literally mirrored it. He was so calm, so cool. He just sort of like would walk into the building and almost like glide in. He was so chill. people really took to him. He was a lovely bloke, and as a goalkeeper as well. What a goalkeeper.
Yeah, not the worst person to kind of to learn from.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean that moves it on nicely, because I listened to your podcast with Jack, mate. What a guy. Stevie as well, legends. I love them both, good friends, and a great podcast. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out, especially the one with Foster. But in it, you said there are much more important things in life than football. I was going to say, when did you realise that? Because you also mentioned in the podcast that it wasn't until your later stage of your life where you started to realise that actually, that football isn't everything.
Yeah, for sure. I think the big thing for me was when my kids were born, actually. So I think I was 26, that's 27 when the kids were born. And yeah, the one thing that happened obviously with Capello, that for me straight away was just like, wow, that's so sort of like clinical. Do you know what I mean? It's like the human element of the footballer doesn't exist. He has to just go straight back to being a robot, to being a professional footballer. And I think that was a big thing for me. It really did sort of resonate with me I don't know, I love football and I absolutely buzz off it. It's given me so much in my life. It's incredible. But the human part of it has to be just as important as the professional part of it. And I think as I've got older as well, once I got into my 30s, I actually realised that you should enjoy playing football on a Saturday afternoon. You should go out there and play with a smile on your face, like you did when you're 12, 13, 14, 15 with your mates in the park. You do your best work when you're smiling and when you're just enjoying yourself. So I learned that probably when I turned 30, and that's a shame because I've spent the best part of a decade probably not really enjoying it, which is mad. Can you imagine? Yeah. I need to just enjoy myself and have a nice time. So, but you'll always get the people that say, like, I'll come out after a game, and I remember losing to Man City 8-0 and coming out and they were saying, wow, what was that like? And I was going, they're incredible. They are absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like they just pop it about for fun and they expose you. They're a joke. Like they're a pleasure to watch sometimes. And like you'll have people going, he's just lost 8-0 and he's praising you. But that's life. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and be sad about it. I'm not going to go home and let that affect how my relationship, my wife or my kids, or let the house atmosphere be miserable because we lost 8-0. As soon as the game finishes, I park it and then I carry on being a human being again.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way to put it. Kind of like, as you said, like a job. You leave it. That's work. When I go home with my friends or with my family, you get to kind of you might talk about it, but it's not going to affect the way you are with them. I think that's really good. Now, kind of along the same kind of thing. I mean, there are some footballers that I've heard that like were unreal in training, and like the best you'd ever see them play was in training. But then sometimes when it came to a match day or a game situation, they weren't as good. Do you think that is actually quite common in football? Have you ever seen a lot of footballers that you were like, wow, in training you are the bee's knees, but then when it came to a match day they didn't seem to quite have it? Do you think it's more of a mental thing?
Yeah, for sure it is. It's without doubt a mental thing for me. For me, having the technical ability and the skills to be a footballer is 50%, and the other 50% is between your ears. It really is. It's that important. And like you said, I won't want to name individuals, but I have genuinely seen in training world-class players, like unbelievable talents that you think, oh my God, you're just going to rip up the world of football. You're that good. But then you put them on a pitch in front of fans and where it matters and where the pressure's on, and they just don't know how to deal with it. And that's a shame. Again, it comes back to what I said a minute ago about not enjoying your football. But it's a massive thing. And it's something that needs addressing in football, is learning and teaching these younger players how to deal with the expectation and the pressure that comes with being a professional footballer on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. Because there have been a lot of, especially, I think you've seen recently players like Mason Mount, Phil Foden, these young English guys have kind of grown up and seen the level that these footballers already reach. I guess for a lot of the era before that, they had never quite experienced it or seen someone and been able to learn from them. So I think that's why we were able to see players like these young English guys come through and everyone's like, oh my God, they're so funny when they're in their interviews, because they are just being human. Because I think there was probably a period where it felt like footballers at times would come out and for like an interview, and it would be like, yeah, game was good. We scored 2 goals, well done. Very like media trained answers. Where at the moment it seems like a lot of, and yourself actually, you are quality in every interview you do. You're just yourself. It seems like you're a bit more personable with them.
Yeah, I think that's I love it though as well. I agree with you completely there. I love it. Like, it's so refreshing, isn't it, when you see these younger footballers come through and they just say what comes into their head. Like, imagine that, just saying, like, it's like having a normal conversation. It literally is like watching a normal conversation between 2 normal people, and it's so nice to see. Hold on a minute, I need to go and collect my daughter. Wait there. No, wait there. Oh my God, I'm having a beat. Can I ring you on my phone in 1 second, Zach? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine by me.
Wait there, 1 second.
Oh my. Okay then, as I said, your time has been provided to us by EA Sports and the EFL. So I think it's time we have a look at your FIFA card. I'm going to name some stats to you quickly, and I want you to say whether you think they're good enough or you think they're bad or just about right. Your diving has been given level 80.
I think I'm a good diver. I think diving is like, it's a key part of being a goalkeeper, but I feel like I'm a decent diver, okay? But I'd like to see it maybe 85, but 80 is cool. It's fine. It's not too bad. I'll take it.
No, okay. So you're handling 77. So that's a little bit lower than the diving. Do you think that's about right?
No. Again, my handling I think is lovely. I think my handling is lovely. Okay, they're killing me here, but handling is massively a big part of what I do with when I'm goalkeeping. Is I always try and have the best and cleanest hands. I'll always try and catch things. I take a 90, but whatever in FIFA, whatever, it's fine.
You'll take a 90. Most keepers would think I take a 90. Okay, now I don't want to hear no lying about this one. Your kicking is 73, and I've heard you say many a times you'd rather boot it up the pitch than pass it about at the back.
So that's what I mean. I don't know what they're basing the kicking rating off then, because I think what they mean is like probably Edison, for example, would be like heavy scoring because he can do everything. He can boot it a million miles. I can understand that rating, to be honest with you. So I'm perfectly happy with that. Like, that's fine for me. That's fine because, like I say, when I get the ball, I just want to get it as far away from my goal as is possible.
That's fair enough. It's proper old school keeping. I do respect it a lot. Your reflexes is level 80.
I'll take that. I'm 38 years old, Zach. I'll take that, mate, all day long. I feel like my reflexes are still fairly decent, to be fair. I feel like, honestly, I still feel like I'm like 28 or something. I feel golden. So my reflexes still being that high, I'm buzzing with that.
Okay. But, well, this one not so good. Your speed is 48. could be improved, maybe. It's quite low.
100%. That's correct. With like you would not believe, that's fully correct. All right. I am not fast. I'm fairly decent at acceleration. I ain't trying to beat anybody in a race. Like if I'm trying to beat somebody in a race, I've made a mistake. All right. So it's fine. I don't mind that.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. And your positioning finally is also level 79. It's not too bad. It's not amazing, but not the worst.
Yeah, I'll take 79. Yeah, that's I don't mind that. I think if you're getting around 80 for most things, that's cool with me. I'm happy with that.
Perfect. Okay, well, you never know. You got promoted to the Premier League, so EA might bump it up a little bit.
Nah, they're ageist. They're ageist. They don't like the older players. They penalise us for getting old. I'll definitely be like a 75 or 76 next season.
Oh, no way. If you're lower than you're rated now, that is...
100% I will be, mate. 100%. It's not
that'll be a travesty. Okay, then, look, just to finally wrap it up, we need to talk about your YouTube channel. I've said it a million times. I love it. And I said to you previously, I think you're going to be hitting 1 million by the end of the year. I still believe that you're over 500,000 subscribers now. How are you finding it? How are you finding life as a YouTuber, Ben?
Honestly, mate, it is wicked. It is absolutely class. Like, I absolutely buzz off doing it. I know the reception to it's really, really good and people love watching the videos, but honestly, I love making the videos as well. It's such a good laugh. Like, the lads are fully on board now. They fully enjoy doing it. We've got a few little characters within the videos, like Basil, the bus driver, and Will Hughes obviously swearing, all the standard stuff. But no, next year in the Prem, it's going to bang, honestly. It's going to be absolutely incredible. People want to see what Anfield looks like, what Man City looks like, all these amazing stadiums. And honestly, even in the summer, I know it's going to be different. There's not going to be so many match day vlogs, obviously, because it's the off season. But I've got so many things already planned up to do and collabs with people, all that kind of stuff. And it's a wicked time. It's a real nice. I like the community of it, although, because everybody seems to be so much more nicer than social media formats.
Oh, mate, for sure. YouTube is an absolute wonderful place to be in. I mean, I was thinking, when pre-season happens, surely you're going to have to put the GoPro on you instead. Pre-season, one of the pre-season games, put it on your head or something so you can get a proper point of view. There you go. That's a free idea, mate. That's a million views right there, Ben.
You
Take
need
it.
to come and work for me, Zac. You can come and work full time, mate. You've got ideas for fun, mate. You're class.
Oh, mate, I've been doing YouTube for the past 5 years. I've been doing it since I was 18. So yeah, I'd like to hope that I've got some sort of knowledge with it.
Your channel's class as well. You're wicked, mate. Like I say, it's your smiley face. People like smiley faces, mate. Just keep smiling.
Oh, mate, you're flirting. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. Okay, then we'll find. Last question. You did say you've got some plans. Are you able to maybe drop a little idea what you might be doing? I saw you also mentioned. I remember last time you mentioned that you were gonna. Your dream was to collab with the Sidemen, and you've already got Toby in one of the videos. You're just ticking them off. It usually takes a YouTuber about 4 years to try and hit a mil. Ben's gonna do it in less than a year. It's ridiculous.
These are genuinely the things that we want to do in the summer. So, like I said, we have had a few conversations with people like the Sidemen, F2 Freestylers, other bits and bobs. And, mate, it's like some of the other guys like Chris MD, people like that, Chunks, funny guys, you know what I mean? Really, they just seem like really nice guys. I'm so happy to go and make a video with somebody that just seems like a really nice, normal guy. Even the Sidemen, like, they're absolute megastars, but they're just nice, normal guys, aren't they? They're top class. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting summer, mate. I don't have a clue what I'm going to be doing. 100% I'm going to be getting flung around the goal, trying to save some shots and stuff like that, or save a car from getting broken or something. Like, whatever
that would be unreal.
I'm up for it, mate. I'm up for it. It's golden.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, well, I play five-a-side with Chris and Harry and that, and they're not too bad. Chris especially is all right. So yeah, be prepared for that. But Ben, thank you so much for your time. I think you've got to go collect your daughter from netball. Hopefully her team has won. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it.
Again, pleasure all mine, Zac. Honestly, top class, wicked, mate. Love it.
Smashed it. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Ben, it'll be on screen right now. Make sure you go over there, subscribe. I promise you right now, it'll be the best decision you make all year. See you later. Goodbye.